Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. Welcome to Marriage's Daily Class. Today we'll be continuing with the Srimad Bhagavatam. We're going through the third canto, second chapter, verse 23. Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Maharaj, you're on mute. Sorry.
Haribol, Lord Srila Prabhupada, my obeisances to all the devotees.
Hare Krishna. Would you like me to share the screen now?
Please. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Ahom Bhakiyam Nastalakala Kutam Jigam Sayarpaya Ya Apya Sadvi Levegatam Dar Uchitam Tatanyam Kamvadalalum Saranam Vrajema. Alas, how shall I take shelter of one more merciful than he who has granted the position of mother to a she-demon, Putana, although she was unfaithful and she prepared deadly poison to be sucked from her breast? Purport. Here's an example of the extreme mercy of the Lord even to his enemy. It is said that a noble man accepts the good qualities of a person of a doubtful character, just as one accepts nectar from a stock of poison. In his babyhood, he was administered deadly poison by Putana, a she-demon who tried to kill the wonderful baby. And because she was a demon, it was impossible for her to know that the Supreme Lord, even though playing the part of a baby, was no less than the same personality of Godhead. His value as the Supreme Lord did not diminish upon his becoming a baby to please his devotee Jasoda. The Lord may assume the form of a baby or a sheep or any other human being, but it does not make the slightest difference. He is always the same Supreme. A living creature, however powerful he may be, by dint of severe penance, can never become equal to the Supreme Lord. Lord Krishna accepted the motherhood of Putana because she pretended to be an affectionate mother, allowing Krishna to suck her breast. The Lord accepted the least qualification of the living entities and awards him the highest reward. This is the standard of his character. Therefore, who but the Lord can be the ultimate shelter? Om Gyan Tadivandasya Ganajana Salakaya Chaksun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Ma Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pasnaya Bhutalai Shrimakti Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaudavani Pacharine Nirbsesa Sunyavari Pastyatya De Satarine Vancha Kalpa Tarubhascha Kripa Sindhu Bhevacha Pitanam Bhavane Vaishnave Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Accepting this demon as his mother, because she played the role of a mother, he purified her. At the same time, he gave her a very high level of realization, or we might say liberation, on the same level as his mother. And as here it says, the Lord, even though a man may have a doubtful character, he still accepts their good qualities. No one can harm the Lord anyway. And even though she tried to kill the Lord, because she was in that mood of demonic, she was killed. But at the same time, she got such a high level of, what we say, liberation, that when Pundarik Vidyanidhi was in Mayapur, or Navadvip actually, and Gadadhar Pandit and Mukunda came to see him. Gadadhar Pandit could not understand Pundarik Vidyanidhi. He was so much in the mood of a materialist. Although, according to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's statements to Gadadhar, he was a great soul. Gadadhar was bewildered. But then Mukunda could understand Gadadhar's mind, so he chanted this verse. And when he chanted this verse, Pundarik Vidyanidhi went into ecstasy for 6 hours, completely destroying everything around him. And it was impossible even for his servants to hold him down. He was so much in ecstasy. He lost complete consciousness just thinking of how wonderful, how merciful is the Supreme Lord. Even though this demon came to kill him, he accepted her as his mother. But he couldn't give her the same reward as one who approaches him favorably. He gave her a high level of liberation. So the Lord purified her by getting rid of her demoniac qualities and at the same time elevated her to a higher status. When Pundarik Vidyanidhi heard this verse, he went completely mad. And Gadadhar was really amazed to see his ecstasy in devotion. That he understood that Pundarik, although looking like an ordinary materialist, dressed in that way and also exhibiting the activities or the characteristics of a materialist, not the activities, the characteristics. He was a great soul. So this verse is really a very key verse. This is recited by Maitreya Muni, who ultimately is describing Krishna's pastimes here. So this is Krishna. He sees the intention, just like when we try to do devotional service. We always fall short of perfection in the execution of our devotional service. But still, the devotee is trying his or her best to serve. Therefore, the Lord will take that and not so much the results of the activity. We have the example of Vidura. When Duryodhana wanted to get Krishna to be on his side, he arranged this huge ceremony in honor of Krishna. And it was he had the best cooks in the kingdom, an elaborate feast. There was musicians, there's persons who were performing magic. There was all kinds of entertainment, all for the pleasure of the Lord. But the Lord could understand Duryodhana's mentality. He didn't go there. Instead, he came to the house of Vidura. He came to the house of Vidura. And Vidura wasn't home. When his wife opened the door, she saw Krishna. She became overwhelmed with excitement. And immediately she wanted to bring Krishna something. She couldn't find anything to give Krishna. He found some bananas. she started peeling the bananas and throwing away the banana and giving Krishna the peel in her ecstasy. And Krishna was eating the peel after peel, because he was taking her bhakti rather than the results of her activity. Of course, we shouldn't do that, but this is an example of how Krishna responds. Yayatam mam prapadyante tam sataiva bhajamyaham. As you will approach me, I reward you accordingly. If you approach Krishna for some material benefit, you may get that material benefit. Or if you're a sincere devotee, you may not get the material benefit, because Krishna knows that why give my sincere devotee a material benefit when the devotee doesn't really want it, but he's asking in anyway. He may give it, he may not. That's his, choice. But sometimes he gives it, and sometimes he don't. But if he doesn't give it, still the devotee is not discouraged. They continue on in their devotional service. But the point is, he sees this devotee is trying to serve me nicely in some way or other. Therefore, he accepts that, and he merits the devotee with bhakti, or the qualification of a sincere servitor, by giving them transcendental knowledge, detachment from material activities, and transcendental happiness. Sometimes you wonder, how does Krishna reciprocate our service? These three ways. He helps to detach us more and more from material life. He gives us knowledge of himself, and at the same time, he gives transcendental happiness, all when the devotee sincerely tries to serve. So if we try to sincerely serve the Lord, even though we may not be up to the standard in terms of the quality of our service, still we should always try to make the service the best and bring quality and expertise into the service. But sometimes it doesn't happen. But if the devotee is trying to serve the Lord sincerely, that is, Krishna will accept that service, and the devotee becomes elevated, benefited. So that's Krishna. Krishna is very kind. No one can understand the limit of his kindness. Here it's exemplified in this particular pastime. A demon got liberation simply because she was in the role of a mother. And Krishna killed many demons, but his killing of demons, he never really gets angry at the demons, except one demon he got really angry at, and that was Kamsa. Why? Because Kamsa had killed so many children. Kamsa had harassed so many other living entities. And Krishna was very angry at Kamsa. So when Kamsa had arranged for Krishna to be killed by bringing him from Vrindavan to Mathura, and he set up different ways to try to destroy Krishna. First, he put this big, gigantic elephant, Kula Vavya Pida, and the elephant came charging at Krishna along with the elephant trainer. But Krishna killed both of them and the big, gigantic elephant. You can see there's pictures of Krishna dancing around the elephant's foot, and the elephant's trying to smash Krishna with his foot, but Krishna's dancing this way and that way. And then, of course, when the elephant wasn't successful, then the guards came to kill Krishna, and Krishna killed all the guards. And then he came into the wrestling arena, and it was time for a wrestling match. So he challenged Krishna by using some of his most powerful wrestlers. Krishna and Balaram were there. And Mustika and Chanura came, and Krishna killed them in the fight. And Balaram also killed Chanura. And then Krishna was really angry. Kamsa sitting on the dais, a distance away, looking at the events. Krishna went charging up really fast, grabbed him and threw him out of his seat and started kicking him and punching him. Really, it's over and over until Kamsa lost his life. In that case, because Kamsa had done so many heinous things to the devotees in Vrindavan, to other living entities, Krishna was really, really upset. And of course, he even harassed Krishna's mother, Devaki, and his father, Vasudeva. So Kamsa got a really, he also got liberation, but he really got beat up really bad by Krishna. And Kamsa was powerful. He wasn't a small demon, he was very powerful. He had killed, no, he had not killed, but he had defeated all of these demons that he sent to Vrindavan to kill Krishna. And he made them serve him by directing them to Vrindavan to kill Krishna. And Krishna killed them one after another. You know, there was Sakadasura, there was, of course, Putana was one of them. There was, who else? Devakasura, there was Bakasura, there was Aristasura, there was Keshi, there was so many demons, Palambasura, all of these demons. You can read about it in one particular scripture called the Garga Samhita. You should read it. It's a very interesting book. That's how Kamsa had defeated all of these demons and subjected them to his own control. And then he used them to try to kill Krishna. But that was all a failure, obviously. No one can kill the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He kills everybody. Actually, it says that he's the one that gives life, and he's the one that destroys life in his different features. So, of course, life in that sense means the body, not the soul, can never be destroyed. The soul is actually life. The body is not life. If you lose your body, you still live, but you may not be in the same position. You'll be in a different position. So death doesn't happen to the soul. Death happens to the body. And actually, the body is never alive in the first place. This body becomes alive by the presence of the soul. And when the soul is in the body, that's life. And when the soul leaves the body, that's called the end of the body. But the body is never alive. So if we somehow or other lose our body, we lose something that's never alive anyway. Although the body gives us so much trouble because it's consisting of nerves, and nerves cause pain to the body like that. So when the nerves are agitated, there is pain throughout the body in different ways. But actually, the pain is going onto the body. Those who are free from bodily conception of life can actually, Prabhupada was talking really interesting the other day. He actually was yesterday, I was listening. Or no, it was actually this morning. He was talking about how, you know, you may be attacked, you might be bitten by dogs or cats or even snakes, or you may cut yourself with a deadly weapon. But if you're chanting Hare Krishna, you won't feel any pain. The body may be injured, but there will be no pain. And sometimes we experience that. We're chanting Hare Krishna, we're walking along and we smash our foot against the door, or we kick the side of the bed, or we smash our finger with something. But because we're chanting, there's no pain. Maybe some of you experienced that. I have many times experienced that. Now, by chanting the holy name, there's no pain there. Or even if there's a little pain, it's a sensation, not something that is causing one to be discomfort. So that's Krishna. And Krishna in the holy name and Krishna in his transcendental form are abhinna. That means Bina means different. Abhina means the same. And so Krishna, he's non-different in his name, his form, his qualities, his activities, and even his pure devotees. He remains the same in every situation. So devotional service means to come in contact with Krishna through the process of serving Krishna in different forms, by worshiping him in his deity form, by chanting his holy name, by accepting his mercy in the form of prasada, by glorifying his qualities and activities. These are all ways to associate directly with the Supreme Lord. And that's the mercy of the Lord. He allows that association. And it purifies the devotee. What does it mean? We live in this material world and we have this conception, or actually misconception, that we can be happy here. We make all kinds of arrangements for happiness. But even if we get some temporary relief from suffering, which we call happiness, then after some time, the time factor destroys that also. So this material world is a place of suffering. Devotees have not been convinced about that yet. We still think I can be happy here somehow, but that's an illusion. You can try, but the happiness you're looking for is on the spiritual platform, not in relationship to the body, the mind, the senses, or even the intelligence. The happiness is transcendental, and that is connected with the energy that is above the material energy, and that is the spiritual energy, and that's where Krishna exists on that level. So if we're looking for happiness, we're looking for success in life, we're looking for freedom from suffering, we're looking for success in everything we do, then we should engage in devotional service, that's all. Mm-hmm. The material world is designed for the living entity to suffer in different ways, just to teach the principle that you can't be happy in this world. Suffering is built in as a concomitant factor to awaken the living entities, just like fire. If you stick your hand in a fire, you're going to get burnt. The fire doesn't try to burn you, but somehow or other, if you get exposed to fire, you'll get burned. And then you pull your hand back, and then you realize I'll stay away from that in the future. So when we get burnt in this material world or disappointed in our attempts for success and happiness, these are indications to help us realize that there is no sense in trying for material happiness, because material happiness is just a euphemism. It's a statement. There's no such thing. Actually, the acharyas do give some concession to material. They say there is one happiness, but the happiness is a drop. A drop. So when you're in the desert and you're thirsty and you need water, and someone comes and gives you a drop of water, that person's not your friend. He just agitates your thirst even more with one drop. So that one drop in this material world is considered to be, by one of the great acharyas, Vyapati. He's actually a poet. He's a contemporary of Lord Chaitanya. He says, uh, uh, society, friendship, and love is that one drop of happiness we get in this material world. In other words, family life. But we see even today, people get into family life and they suffer more than people who are not in family life. Because although we're trying to get happiness in that, everyone is there for their own self-interest. And there's always a competition of whose happiness is going to manifest. And sometimes one gets a little happiness in family life, and they get a little bit, when we say, um, self-assured that yes, there is some happiness. But then again, the time factor is always alive to move things out into a different situation. So here, Krishna is showing his mercy to a she-demon simply by she's getting she's getting a level of happiness that is beyond the material happiness, way beyond the material happiness. But still, she so Krishna shows his mercy to anyone who comes in contact with him in one form or another. But for a devotee, they try to serve Krishna in a way that is favorable to please Krishna, and then they get the unlimited form of happiness, which is eternal, is Nayam Deho Deho Bhajan Nirloket Kastan Kama Arati Vid Bujanje Tapo Divyam Putakradena Sadvam Brahma Sokyam Janantam Yasman Brahma Sokyam Jananta Twanantam Brahma Sokya. Brahma means spiritual, Sakyam means happiness. What is it? Twanantam, it's unlimited. The spiritual happiness is unlimited. It keeps spiraling, becomes more and more satisfying. And so that's what we're looking for. And that's the only thing that can satisfy us is Krishna. We can't be satisfied by anything or anyone in this world. We'll never find complete happiness or satisfaction, even in the most ideal situation. But Krishna is there for his devotee who wants to serve him and wants to somehow or other please him by that service. We have an eternal relationship with Krishna that is never lost. And the material energy makes us forget about that relationship. But the end, just like if you have some money and you put it somewhere in your house to keep it secure, and then you forgot, you secured it so nicely you can't find it anymore. And you're going everywhere trying to think, where did I put it? But it's there somewhere. So in one sense, you have the wealth, but in another sense, you can't use it because you can't access it. In the same way, we have this principle of eternal happiness, which is there within the soul in our relationship with Krishna. But because we're still covered by the material energy and still trying to enjoy the material energy, we can't find that happiness that is there within our own existence. So therefore, one should stop trying to enjoy this material world and still take part in serving Krishna. Even if it's a little difficult to serve Krishna, still, that difficulty was just because we're still attached to material life. That difficulty will pass in due course of time as one becomes regulated in their service to the Lord. So this is the beauty of Krishna consciousness. And Krishna shows by his different pastimes as he kills so many different demons, they all get the mercy of the Lord and get elevated to a higher status of life. But a devotee doesn't get elevated to a higher status of life. They get to associate with Krishna in the spiritual world if they practice this devotional service throughout their whole life. And then they achieve his association in the spiritual world. And even while they're in the material world, even though they're surrounded by the material energy, they're not affected by the material energy. Why? Because they're insulated and isolated from that energy simply by the power of their devotional service. Just like a devotee gets sick and a non-devotee gets sick, and it causes them much anxiety, and they lament many times their situation, and they suffer. But a devotee may undergo some difficulty, but they know it's the body, and in due course of time, they have to just tolerate it, and then soon it'll be gone, because their consciousness is fixed on Krishna, even though their body may be undergoing some difficulty. They're not experiencing it in the same way that the non-devotee does, because the non-devotee lives for the body, the devotee lives for serving Krishna. Okay, so these are some things we can consider in our practice of devotional service.
Thank you, Maharaj, for such a wonderful class. Dear devotees, if you have any questions, please raise your hands. If you're not able to speak, then you can type your questions on the chat box and I'll read it out for you. Yeah, Bhavya, Prabhu, you can go ahead.
Bhavya.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. Guru Maharaj, my question was that just like in the Prakati Leela, there are demons. There are demons like Kansa, Putna, etc. So in the Aprakati Leela, in Golok Dham or in the Mathura Dham of the spiritual world, do these Leela also happen where demons come and attack Krishna?
Well, there's a conception of demons, but there's no demons there. And just for the sake of Leela, and then that is played out there. But they're not, because no demons can get into the spiritual world. So Krishna performs his pastimes, killing demons in the spiritual world, but they're not demons. In other words, it's just a dramatic performance. That's all, just to give Krishna pleasure and to give the devotees pleasure. So when you go back, you may be playing the role of a demon. And then Krishna will not kill you because nobody dies in the spiritual world, but it'll look like that.
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
So, but don't try for that particular position. Try to serve. Yeah, so those who get chosen to perform Krishna's leelas in the spiritual world, they're very fortunate also. Because nobody can die there because everything is eternal, full of knowledge and full of bliss. But as a semblance, as Prabhupada said, there's a semblance of demons there. It appears to be that, but it's not.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. So, what is the role of Kansa in spiritual world?
I don't
Is
know
he
if there,
is he there?
I don't know if there's any Kamsas. There's no Kamsa there in the spiritual. He didn't make it that far. He got liberation on a lower level. He never made it to the spiritual world. Might have made it to the Brahma Jyoti, which is the outskirts of the spiritual world, but still, he has to fall down again and come back to the material world to again perform material activities after after his, what we say, time elapses. Because liberation is a time factor for the demons. They get it for so much. And then after
Hmm.
some time, they come back. Same with people who, Gyanis, the yogis, different tapasis, they get a temporary state of liberation. But because there's no happiness there, they get some peace, they get freedom from material suffering, but there's no happiness. Prabhupada was talking about that yesterday. I was listening. He says, those who make it to the Brahma Jyoti, they actually come back down again because there's no happiness there. All they get is freedom. The happiness that they get is the happiness of freedom from suffering. That's all. If you call happiness freedom from suffering, it's another way to define happiness. You may be, just like you may be healthy and you're sitting nicely in your room, you're very peaceful, but you're not happy. You're just not suffering, that's all. So we don't know about Kamsa where he is, and we don't really care.
Thank you, Bhavya, Prabhu. Darren Mataji, would
Thank
you
you.
like?
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Maharaj. So you were mentioning that Krishna is taking bhakti, but I was thinking, does he accept our service even though we might go like against the rules and regulations? Because in the beginning, I used to have like a small altar, and sometimes I used to, because I lived alone, I used to eat in front of the altar, but then I heard that you should not eat in front of Krishna. It just feels sometimes that the rules and regulation make it harder to really connect to Krishna. So I was wondering
Well, we
if
can't serve Krishna directly without going through his representative, the spiritual master. So when we have a spiritual master, even though we are not, there's some imperfections in our devotional service, still we're sincere, but there's imperfections, and the spiritual master will offer that to Krishna. But if you're not working under the guidance of the spiritual master, you're performing activities that are similar to devotional service. And you're practicing the principles of devotional service. You're getting the feel of the program. Not until you take shelter of the spiritual master, work under his guidance, does your bhakti actually begin. As Prabhupada would always say, initiation means beginning. Initiation means beginning. So we're practicing to begin. We're doing the same thing we would normally do even after initiation, but we're not getting the same mercy. We're simply preparing ourselves to come to the point of full surrender. And when we fully surrender, then we want to take up bhakti in a serious way, and that therefore we take shelter of Krishna's spiritual master. So we're not actually serving Krishna, but in one sense we are serving Krishna, because we're directing our attention towards Krishna, but it's not being accepted as bhakti because we are still, what we say, not connected with the process of bhakti. In other words, we're practicing. If you're, when you want to become a musician and go out in public and do musical performances, you have to practice before you do that. And you're practicing, you're learning music, you're getting better at it. But until you can qualify yourself, you can't go out in public and perform music. So in the same way, we're practicing bhakti to get to the stage where we get connected with the parampara system, with Krishna through the spiritual master. And then our bhakti, and then our devotional service goes to Krishna through the mercy of the spiritual master.
But even if
for pure devotees, it's direct. For those who are mixed, it works through the parampara system.
Okay, thank you.
Because if you could serve Krishna purely, you would be in ecstasy all the time. Is that happiness that you achieve with direct connection with Krishna is unlimited. But we're practicing.
And even if we have a spiritual master, then we are still practicing until we can come, or will he ever accept our devotion?
But then that practice is reached as the higher stage where Krishna is accepting our service. Because Krishna doesn't accept anything but pure devotional service. That's why the spiritual master is there. Take your mixed devotion and offer it to him.
Does the spiritual master then purifies our devotion? And then
Then he gives you the mercy. And whose mercy is it? It's not his mercy, it's Krishna's mercy coming through him. He's merciful also by allowing you to serve Krishna in a less perfect stage of consciousness. The mercy.
And we know that we got the mercy if we are happy then all the time?
I mean, if you're happy, that means you please Krishna. Because you're connected with Krishna indirectly, but at the same time, the experience is direct. Because you're part and parcel of Krishna on the spiritual level, you can never be separated from Krishna. But the experience is not there because of our consciousness is covered by material energy. But if we somehow please Krishna by following the instructions of the spiritual master, then we actually connect with Krishna and there's a feeling of satisfaction. There's three things: happiness, satisfaction, and freedom from material attachments. That's mentioned in the 11th canto. What is that verse? I think it's 11th canto, 2nd chapter. Trying to think of the verse number. Tushti, Pushti, like that. Look up the word Tushti, Tusti, and see what references it gives you.
Oh, I found it, Maharaj. This one.
Yeah, that's it. Bhaktir prasanubhava viraktir anyatra chasatrika eko kalaham pradyamananasya yatasnaryasya shud tusti pusti shud apaya nugasam. So read it.
What was the verse again? Sorry, I didn't see.
It was
the translation.
11.2.42.
Read the translation.
Sorry, Mataji or me?
You read it.
Devotion, direct experience of the Supreme Lord, and detachment from other things. These three occur simultaneously for one who has taken shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the same way that pleasure, nourishment, and relief from hunger come simultaneously and increasingly with each bite for a person engaged in eating.
Devotion, direct experience of the Lord, and detachment from other things occur simultaneously. The analogy is given to the eating process: pleasure, nourishment, and relief from hunger. So yeah, that's how bhakti works.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mataji. Rasa Sundari Mataji, would you like to go ahead?
Hare Krishna, dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to you, and all glories to Vaishnavas everywhere. So I had a different question, but from the answer, from your previous answer, I just have one other question follow up. So if our devotion is mixed, and if we are doing devotional service to Lord Krishna, what should be our mood, or like should we offer our service to the Guru first? Because like you were mentioning that if our devotion is mixed, the service goes through parampara. So what should be our, mood, or like, like who should we offer the services to? Like,
we're offering the service to the spiritual master, and he's offering it to Krishna. So we pray to the spiritual master, please accept my offering. You can pray to Krishna also to please accept my offering, as long as we're working through the instructions, guidance of the spiritual master. Simultaneously the same. But Guru has an extra added element of mercy where Krishna doesn't give. Guru allows for persons who are not so qualified, although sincere, to serve the Lord.
Maharaj. Actually, my actual question was, how do we know that Krishna is pleased from our services?
Please. Yeah, Prabhupada said that. That's the exact answer he gave. We're part and parcel of Krishna. Therefore, when you connect with Krishna and you please him, you're also pleased. If you plug in the socket into the electric, you need to plug into the electrical socket. The electrical energy goes throughout the wire all the way up to the light. Yeah, because you can't be separated from Krishna. You have to realize that. There's no question of the soul being separated from Krishna. It's just that we're covered by the material energy and we appear to be separated. And because we're covered by the material energy, we act in a separated way. And when we act in a proper way, then, although we're not aware because of our covering of the material energy still, we're still getting the mercy of Krishna when we please Krishna. You can't be separated from Krishna. It's not possible. The soul is part and parcel of Krishna. But the material energy gives us this covering, and you identify with the covering. So, but you could still experience some of the happiness of being with Krishna through the process of devotional service, even when you're in the covered position. You're laying in bed and you're covered with blankets and it's cold, and someone comes and shakes you and you wake up, but they didn't touch you because you're covered with so many blankets, but still the sensation of waking up happens because of the contact.
Also, Maharaj, you mentioned that if we don't get transcendental happiness, if we keep doing devotional service in a regulated way, so what did you mean by regulated way?
Well, regular, every day, chant your rounds every day, take prasadam every day, hear the classes on the Bhagavatam every day, perform some devotional activities that are given to you by the spiritual master, either through his instructions or through his general instructions or his direct instructions, either one.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Yeah, thank you. Good questions.
Maharaj, I had a follow-up question regarding the same topic. Is that okay if I ask?
You're in charge.
I wanted to know, yeah, because you were talking about how when when a disciple performs pure devotional service, it's the guru who offers it. But does a guru get any reactions when like that devotional service is not pure, it's mixed?
He doesn't get any reactions. That's his service. He's trying to get you to the stage of purity. But if you don't follow after some time, you lose the mercy. And then he has to give you another kind of mercy just to wake you up. But then a lot of times, devotees never wake up, no matter what happens. They still stay asleep. Because they don't understand how by staying steady in devotional service, you build your consciousness towards Krishna. This is like if you're cooking and you're making a very nice cake and you need so many ingredients and you're working and somebody comes to the door and you stop cooking and then you open the door, you interrupted your cooking. So you're in another consciousness now, dealing with the person. So in the same way, stay in the fire of devotional service, and it becomes what we say, warmer and warmer, nicer and nicer. As soon as we break our consciousness from that service, then we're back into the material consciousness again. Yeah. If you're fighting and you let down your guard for a minute, you might be destroyed. So in the same way, you absorb yourself in the activity, get absorbed in performing devotional service. And we may have so many different services, so we we have a whole series of services that make up the day. We might go to the temple, we might worship the deity, we might chant our rounds, we might go to a program. All of these things are devotional service. So we string all of these different ways to serve Krishna. We're always in the spiritual energy. We don't break from that energy. But as soon as we start looking towards material life and start acting on the material level, we slow down or even water down the effects of our devotional service. That's why it says, turn to that verse from the first canto, second chapter, verse number 6, Srimad Bhagavatam 126. Savai pumsam param dharmo yato bhakti yahok sajay ahoy tuki apriyata yayatma supersedati. Read it, translation.
Supreme occupation, dharma for all humanity, is that by which men can attain the loving devotional service unto the Transcendental Lord. Such devotional service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted to completely satisfy the self.
If you want to get self-satisfaction and happiness, perform it without motivation, without interruption. If you break it, then you break the mercy. In other words, you again you lose that happiness, that satisfaction. Stay in the fire of devotional service. Sometimes it's just like fire because it is purifying us, but at the same time, it's elevating us to a higher state of consciousness. So make a schedule and just follow the schedule the whole day. Even if you have to do material responsibilities like taking care of family, going shopping, and don't forget Krishna. That's all. Do your work, but remember Krishna while you're doing your work. Ate koru kaje mukhi balo hari. Work with your hands, but chant the holy names.
Yes.
Yeah, devotional service is an energy. So if you stay in the energy, you're elevated by that energy. As soon as you break from that energy, then you slow down the process. And the longer you break from it, the more you slow it down. And in that break, you can experience the mercy of the spiritual energy. So stay in it. Therefore, what is that verse? It's from the Bhagavatam. Maybe Sri Devi should know this verse. It is, I think it's actually, I can research it. It's in Chaitanya Charitamrita. It's listed from the Mahabharata that always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. These are the two principles that make up success in devotional service. So what is that verse? Do you know that, Sri Devi?
I think I found it.
Satatam Sartavya Vishnu.
That's it.
Sat
The verse. Where is it? 22, 113. Satatam Vishnu, Vishnu Smartyam Najat Chit. Sarva Virini Sedam Shur Etayor Eva King Karaha. Translation?
Krishna is the origin of Lord Vishnu. He should always be remembered and never forgotten at any time. All the rules and prohibitions mentioned in the Shastras should be the servants of these two principles.
Yeah, Prabhupada goes on to say, you may be doing different things, but that's fine. Just remember Krishna. And if you always remember him and never forget him, you're always on the transcendental platform. You're always experiencing transcendental happiness. Yeah, Prabhupada, you read the purport, it gives you some details on how these things more or less manifest. Prabhupada said one may have other duties to perform under the direction of the spiritual master, but he must first abide by the spiritual master's order to chant a certain number of rounds. And he talks about 16 rounds like that. One may sell books or enlist life members or render others, but these are duties, they're not ordinary. These duties serve as an impetus for remembering Krishna. When one goes with the Sankirtana to sell books, he naturally goes to sell Krishna's books. In this way, he's remembering Krishna. When he goes to enlist the right life member, he talks to them about Krishna. The conclusion that one must act in such a way that he'd always remember Krishna, and one should refrain from doing things that make him forget Krishna. These two principles form the basic background of Krishna consciousness. So that's the process.
Thank you, Maharaj. That was really nice. Pavani Mataji, would you like to go ahead? Oh, you're on mute. Sorry.
Babni, what do you doing?
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Maharaj, you were mentioning that difficulties are because we are attached to our material body. So when we are in our when we are in the spiritual realm, do we not experience any difficulty?
Well, in the execution of our devotional service, there may be obstacles. But those obstacles are opportunities for enhanced devotional service. That's all. If you see them that way, you see them as obstacles, they remain like that. Well, why is this happening to me? Well, see it from a different angle of vision. What is Krishna teaching me? I still have some attachment, I still have some material desire. Krishna is purifying me by these obstacles. Therefore, if I accept the obstacles and learn how to deal with them, the Krishna conscious way, then I move to the next stage of consciousness, or higher consciousness. So for a devotee, obstacles are opportunities. For a non-devotee, obstacles are obstacles.
Thank you so much.
They depend on things working in a certain way. We depend on Krishna. We don't depend on things working in a certain way. Things will work in a way that they're ordained to work. You can't do anything about that. You can use your intelligence how to accept these things and benefit from them.
So, Maharaj, is there any difference between difficulties and obstacles?
It's, well, obstacles may present difficulties, but difficulties may not be an obstacle. Difficulty is you're trying to dance, right? So you're doing your dancing and so, the lighting is not right, and the people there are not always interested in your dancing, but they just came anyway. So some difficulty in executing your service, or you're tired and you still have to do your dance. So that's a difficulty. An obstacle is something that prevents you from doing something that you want to do, and therefore it's more of it can seem, sometimes we call them blocks, but the blocks can be removed by understanding that Krishna has allowed this to happen in order for me to gain some knowledge, some detachment, some dependence on his mercy, like that. Yeah, like I was in this situation a couple of days ago. And it seemed like a big obstacle, but ultimately, there was so much to learn in that situation and so much to benefit from that situation also. And the idea is not to forget Krishna. You forget Krishna and you just try to deal with the situation, you might find yourself making it worse. Krishna is putting you in different situations so he helps you remember him more. When things get difficult for a devotee, it becomes easier to remember Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj. I understand.
Thank you,
What-
Bhavani Mataji.
So don't have any difficulties. Just dance for Krishna. Okay, we got
Amritana Mataji.
sleeping again.
Amritana Mataji, would you like to go ahead?
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, my humble obeisances, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to the present Vaishnavas. Thank you. So I was very moved by the innocent question what Bhavni asked. It was quite eye-opening as well. Uh, so if I understand it correct, Guru Maharaj, it is just the difference of the vision which we develop while we are in material world and while we are in the spiritual world. Difficulties are there, but when it is spiritual world, the dualism becomes one, right? We as we see opportunities, opportunity even in the difficulty coming.
Yeah,
With the difference of vision, is it like that?
consciousness. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Devotees
Thank you,
don't.
much.
No, devotees are not trying to gain anything material. Therefore, they work with the situation to bring them back to spiritual consciousness. That's all.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh,
The non-devotee will see the thing in a different way. He'll consider, oh, this is a loss for me, or this is bad luck, or this my desire for success in this has been frustrated, and they sometimes they go on by adjusting, trying to readjust the material energy to make it work for them. They're always adjusting. Devotees don't adjust, they simply depend on Krishna and take shelter of Krishna. They don't lose their connection with Krishna even amidst all of these difficulties. Therefore, they can go easily through these things as long as they stay connected to Krishna.
Very interesting. Thank you.
Remembrance of
Um,
Krishna, remembrance of Krishna is bhakti.
yeah. So Guru Maharaj, I wanted to clarify one point where in the last verse which we pulled up, it was written, devotional service must be unmotivational and un what was it? Uninterrupted. Yeah. So unmotivational is something
Material.
which is not connected with the bad motives, something like that.
If you have some motivation, material motivation, you're trying to gain something materially from devotional service.
Uh,
That's motivation. Even if you have material desires, if you don't act on them, then you're free from that motivation. You can't wait to,
okay.
you can perform a Haitukiya Priyata even in a conditioned state. But you can't stay steady in that until you actually purify yourself from all material desires. But in different situations, you can do that. Well, I'm going to serve. I want to do something different. I need to, but I'm going to put that all aside, and I'm going to serve Krishna to the best of my ability, and I'm going to stay connected to, and I'm going to be absorbed in the service. And then you're on a Haitukiya Priyata. But still, now, as long as you have material desires, they also may interfere with your absorption in devotional service. But you have to be strong enough not to let them affect you by not acting on them. And we have, I mean, devotional service is very subtle in the sense that, our consciousness is contaminated by one or more of the modes of material energy. And although we're still engaged in devotional service, that contamination affects our activity in devotional service. We can't really stay absorbed into it because of our consciousness is still affected by one of the modes. But if you're strong enough, you can somehow or other absorb yourself anyway, even though there is that mode is still pushing you for attention.
So when we have this, we definitely have contamination, but how to take it to the pure form of devotional service?
Krishna says, always remember me. Always work in such a way as to serve Krishna in a favorable way. Avyavilasita sunya jnana karmananarvitam anukulena Krishna silanam bhakti uttamam. No motivation for material gain, no motivation for philosophical gain through knowledge, no for Krishna and with a desire to please Krishna. If you love Krishna, that pleases Krishna automatically. Show your love for Krishna, and Krishna will reciprocate. Even if you can express your love for Krishna at any time. You can do it in the form of service, but you can do it in the form of consciousness too. You can think how wonderful Krishna is, how beautiful he is, how attractive he is, how much Radharani loves him. What is her bhakti that is so pure that she becomes completely mad when she just sees Krishna? Mad in happiness. You start, all of these things are there in Krishna's activity. If you want to be Krishna conscious, connect with Krishna. We put pictures all around the wall, not just to decorate the wall or hide the holes in the wall in our house. Well, no. We put pictures around that so we can remember Krishna by looking at different things, Krishna in different pictures. We see him, we're sitting at our desk, we look up and we see a picture of Radha Madhava. And I look a little bit right and I see a picture of Lord Nrsingadev. So immediately I'm connected with the Supreme Lord simply by seeing his transcendental form. And when I start thinking about how wonderful he is, how nicely addressed he is, how beautifully he stands holding his flute, smiling, and then love starts to awaken, or at least affection starts to develop. But we don't have any time for Krishna. That's the problem.
Is
Yes,
that a,
yes, thank you for the clarification and reminder that we desperately need to keep ourselves reminded every time of Krishna. Thank you.
What is the Bhagavad Purana says? This verse is really powerful. Devotees get scared when I bring this verse up.
Which one is that, Guru?
I can't remember the verse. I don't know the Sanskrit, but it's from the Padma Purana. It's actually rhetorical. It asks a question. What is the greatest mistake? What is the greatest misfortune? What is the greatest anomaly? And then after posing the question in three different ways, the answer is to forget the Supreme Personality of Godhead for one moment. It doesn't say mistake, it says greatest mistake.
Yes, yes.
So I don't, devotees, when I hear verses like that, they think, I'm totally disqualified from Krishna consciousness. You're not. But you should know the actual principle of success. Keep your consciousness on Krishna. That's called Krishna consciousness.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Thank you. Thank you very much. That was a very nice answer.
When you practice, it becomes easier and more natural. If you don't practice, then when you do practice, it becomes difficult. Practice. As I say, when you want to be a performer in the public world, you still have to practice your musical skills until you get to the stage where you can qualify to go public. So keep practicing Krishna consciousness and you'll get better at it.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Thank you. We can do prayers as well to, especially Nityananda. I always pray Nityananda that I don't have the taste, Nityananda. Please help me get that taste.
Nityananda is the most merciful manifestation of the absolute truth. Akroda Paramananda Nityananda Ram. Akroda, he never gets angry.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
Anand Gaurav Prabhu, would you like to go ahead?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Anil pranams to you. Maharaj, last week in Pune, you said a point that in every action that we do, there is an element of bhakti. How do we understand this, Maharaj? You did explain, but I don't know. It just ran out of my mind, So, and then when I discussed, sorry,
is there in everything, but then it's just elements of bhakti. This is a statement by Prabhupada. There's elements in every activity of bhakti. It may not be noticed, but there is always something. What is bhakti made of? Made of attraction. So when you find yourself attracted to another person, there's an element of bhakti there, and that is the mood of attraction.
I got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
My understanding was wrong then. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. It's just a gradation of different elements of bhakti in all activities.
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
Because bhakti is the reality of existence, not karma, not jnana, not yoga.
Yes, understood. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu. Ganesh Prabhu, would you like to go ahead?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my most humble obeisance. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to you. Maharaj, my question is that how does the Lord acceptance of Putna as a mother, although she came with an intention, like a wrong intention, deepens our understanding of Nirahetuka Kripa, causeless mercy, without reducing the importance of sincere devotional service? And if the Lord is so merciful, then what should be our attitude when we see our own shortcomings in bhakti? Like, should we be very much lenient about it? Like, I'm not able to get it. Hare Krishna.
How should we see our own shortcomings in bhakti? And what was that example you said?
I'm asking that, like, as Putana came to with wrong intention
Yeah.
to hurt Krishna, right? So he accepted him as a mother, Right. So what should be our understanding of Nirahetuka Kripa in this sense, like causeless mercy? Like if we then if we see our shortcomings in bhakti, what should be our attitude towards this thing? Should we be very much lenient? Like if we think that, oh, Krishna is so merciful, if we commit any offense, he is going to forgive us.
Well, you should try your best. Shortcomings may also be there, but if you're trying your best, that's what Krishna sees. He sees, oh, this person's trying to serve me, but still they're not up to this standard. But based on the mercy of the spiritual master, Krishna will accept that type of offering. You may not be perfect, but still, but you shouldn't allow shortcomings to be, approved. Well, I can't do it, so I'm not going to try hard. No, devotional service means to make an effort to do things in the best possible way. Arjuna had a fight, and Krishna told him, you have to fight. And fighting is not something small. You have to put all your attention completely. So Kamsa, he was always thinking of Krishna, but in a negative way, and therefore he was Krishna conscious. Putana came simply to kill Krishna, but she acted in a role of a mother. And therefore, it's the Shastras revere the position of a mother. There are 7 mothers. And so a mother, those who play the role of mother in one of those 7 categories are considered to be very glorious living entities. Mother Earth, Mother Cow, the wife of a Brahmana, like that. These are all revered in the Shastras. So when she came as nurse, that's another form of mother. So we shouldn't accept our shortcomings as being, what we say, okay. We should try to overcome them by working in such a way as to get rid of the shortcomings and make the offering as nice as we can. So there is 2 things. There's the mood and the activity. The mood is more important than the activity, but the activities are given to us by the spiritual master. We can't create our own activities. So we follow the activities of the spirit, the suggestions of the spiritual master on how to serve Krishna. And then what is that mood? My dear Lord, please accept my service.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Thank you.
Does that help?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes. Thank you, Maharaj.
Okay, good.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Krishna is very kind, but we shouldn't be, accept second-class devotional service as something satisfactory. No, we want to do the best in every situation. Like you're going to school, right?
I'm in college, Maharaj, final year.
So you can't think, well, it doesn't matter what mark I get as long as I go to the classes. No, you want to do your best.
Yes,
So you
yes, Maharaj.
get a possible mark.
Okay.
Thank you. Maharaj, I heard that Putana in her past life, she was King Bali's wife. Is that right? And like she had a desire to breastfeed Vamanadev, so then she became Putana.
It was Bali's sister.
Oh, okay.
She was the sister of Bali. She had a mixed feeling towards Vamanadev. She felt this maternal love for him as a woman. Sometimes women have that maternal nature, and she was feeling that strongly towards Vamanadev, but at the same time she was angry at him because what Vamanadev cheated her brother out of everything. So it was was maternity with anger. So she manifested herself as a demon.
That makes sense.
It's really cool. Thank you for bringing that up.
Thank you. Yeah, I was wondering why, because she had such motherly affection. So I was wondering why she became a demon. So, yeah, that makes sense.
Angry at the Lord at the same time.
Thank you.
He took everything away from Bali.
Yeah. There's a questions in the chat box. So the first one's from Rishabha Prabhu. He's saying, Gurudev, I'm confused about this demon play in Goloka Vrindavan. Sometimes we say there are no demons, and sometimes we say there is a resemblance. Where can we find reference to read more about it?
Yeah, it's mentioned in the Goswami books by Rupa Goswami. You can read Shiva Ram Maharaj's books about this, the Vrindavan series. He's written 5 books on the Vrindavan series. So these are coming from the other acharyas, from the Goswamis in their writings about Krishna's pastimes.
Thank
I
you.
can't give the exact reference, but I've heard it a few times.
Okay. Yeah. There's another question from Sakshi Mataji. She's saying, Hare Krishna, my humble obeisances, all goes to Srila Prabhupada. Just a follow-up, Guru Maharaj. Does Krishna begin accepting a devotee service only after formal initiation from a spiritual master, or does he also accept the service of someone who has taken initiation but is not Shauta but is not formally initiated?
Someone who has taken initiation but not formally.
Yes. So one who is aspiring and who's an aspiring disciple compared to one who is an initiated disciple.
Work under the guidance of a spiritual master, even though you're not initiated still. Initiation is the second stage. The first stage is to aspire for initiation. I mean, you're getting the feel of devotional service. Adhyastrada sadhu sangha bhajana kriya. 3 steps, the first 3 steps. What was that? Adhyastrada. Some faith brings me into the association of Krishna. I heard about this class that Swamiji is doing every day. Let me check it out. Okay. So I come to the Zoom class and then I get a little inspired. So I go to the temple and I check out the temple and the incense smells good. And they give me some nice food and the atmosphere looks really cool. So I'm just, a little faith brings me into the association of devotees. And then I thought, well, this is really nice. Let me try. So I come back and then I start going more regular to the temple. And then I find out that they're also singing this particular mantra. And I start trying to do that too. So now I'm actually practicing the same thing. I'm getting a feel from it. I'm trying to understand it, and I'm not really. And then as that continues, sadhu sangha, that is called the second stage. When that develops more and more, then I think, well, this is really good. I'm going to make a lifetime out of this. So how do I do that? Well, I have to actually become connected to this group through a process which is called initiation. So yeah, you go through different levels of experience, coming to the point of want to seriously execute devotional service. Then you're ready for the spiritual master. Then the spiritual master will find you. You don't have to find him. You just have to recognize him. That's him.
Smart. There's a comment from Anjali Mataji. She's saying, Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisance to Lord Srila Prabhupada and you. Just wanted to express that reading Srimad Bhagavatam is so satisfying.
Yeah. Gopal Bhatta, no, not Gopal Bhatta. Raghunath Bhatta Goswami was told by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu go to Vrindavan and simply study Bhagavatam. That's all. And he did that his whole life. That was his service. He memorized the whole Bhagavatam and he could sing each of the verses in 3 different meters. So Bhagavatam, everything is in Bhagavatam. Nothing is outside of Bhagavatam. You find everything in Bhagavatam. And that's a statement that Prabhupada makes repeatedly. Bhagavatam's the answers to all questions.
Thank you, Raj. Amritana Mataji, would you like to go ahead?
Sridevi,
I don't have a
Sridevi, you look like you're so close to the camera that yeah, you're gonna fall into the computer or something. Maybe you're trying to come through and so we meet you personally. I don't know.
That would be wonderful, Guru Maharaj.
For some of us. Sridevi can always make things lively by her way of doing things. Hari Hari, we still love you, don't worry about it. What is it called? What is it called? Tough love? Something like that. Okay. Go ahead, Sridevi. Answer your question.
Guru Maharaj, I don't have a question though, but I just want to express my gratitude that you called me at NVCC. I had a wonderful experience there, and I just simply loved the deities there, the Radha Vrindavan Chandra, the smile of Vrindavan Chandra, and the eyes of Radharani. They have really so captivated me that I could really remember them while I'm chanting, or even when I'm not even chanting, also. But the deities are simply very beautiful. I think whenever I used to take darshan, I can't even take the entire darshan because I was just stuck at the smile of Vrindavan Chandra. So yeah, that was very beautiful deities, and the mood of devotees, of all the devotees, I could just say my most humble obeisances to all of them. They were so humble and so wonderful congregation there. So thank you for calling me there.
Yeah, that temple
Yes,
is amazing.
yes, Guru Maharaj. Even I'm thinking of taking a transfer to Pune. As you know, if I any next job and I'll be in Pune, no more
Yeah,
Bangalore.
I'll send you some money so you can shave up and then you can go.
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
Well, you can go like that, but if you really want to stay there, you should be like them.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. I will. Yes, I will, Guru Maharaj. Yes.
Good. Okay, if you decide to do that, just let me know and I'll help you.
Sorry, Guru Maharaj, I didn't understand.
If you decide to do that, let me know and I'll assist you.
Decide in getting transferred to Pune?
Yeah.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. Yeah, I will. Most probably by year end is what I'm thinking. So
Oh, you're gonna just move your job from Bangalore to Pune? Is that it?
I can't do. I've just got promoted. May not be immediately, but maybe 6 months down the line, I can put in a request. So
Oh, okay. But just
yes,
join
Guru Maharaj.
the temple anyway. Don't worry about working.
You you told me last week I'm not a brahmachari material, Guru Maharaj. So
Well, at least you could try it for a while.
So I
Okay.
was in the temple, Guru Maharaj, for 4 years. Oh, sorry, yeah, sorry.
For 4 years, you were living in the temple?
Not as a brahmachari, but from Namanishta Prabhu's temple, we were basically doing our engineering. So we were in the temple, from the temple. So more or less like a brahmachari. So after finishing job, we would just come back. After finishing our college, we'd come back to the temple and carry on with our services, cooking, cleaning, kirtans, book distribution. So I did my engineering from the temple. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
Okay.
And that's when I realized maybe I can't become a brahmachari, So I wasn't that strong. So.
That's all right. But brahmachari training situates you nicely for household life.
Yes, Guru Maharaj, yes.
Because there's things in household life that will be needed in order to practice household life properly. And that is not too much renunciation and not too much attraction.
Okay. Okay.
To find that middle road in household life. And that's where brahmachari life helps to stabilize your understanding of how to organize yourself in such a way that you don't become over infatuated or what we say detached in the same, because you have responsibilities. You can't be detached. You have to take care of your responsibility. At the same time, if you become overly attracted to your wife, then that becomes makes it difficult for you to practice Krishna consciousness.
Yes, Guru Maharaj, yes. I understand, yeah. For now, Guru Maharaj, I'm really waiting for my visa to come in so that I can come and meet you. I got a call from Prema Kishori Mataji. So even she was like, you should definitely go there. So
Everybody's on your side except you.
sorry, Guru Maharaj?
Everybody's is helping you except you. You have to help yourself. We're all rooting for you. Everyone's giving you a lot of mercy. Take the mercy.
Sorry, Guru Maharaj. It just froze. I didn't understand that. Sorry.
Don't worry about it. I'll talk to you later. Okay. Sri Devi.
Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. As you were answering Sakshi's question about the different stages of bhakti, I was thinking that many people are attracted to Krishna consciousness. They like the devotees, they like the prasadam, they like the joyful kirtan. So that initial stage, Adau Shraddha, they come into the association of devotees. They really get attracted to Krishna, they start praying to Krishna. They may even chant a little bit and join every Sunday for the programs, etc. And then, by Krishna's mercy or their prayers or their karma, whatever it is, they get very nicely situated in their material life. They get very what to say, everything becomes very nice. They meet nice people, they may get good spouse, a good home, a good job, this that, and then that's enough for them. After that, they do not want to take that next step in bhakti, which is going deeper, surrendering one's life to guru. They don't want to do all that. They're very comfortable now in their material life, and so this is enough for them. So if they stop at this point without going any further, how is that going to, meaning whatever they have done, they will again have to pick up from that point in the next life, isn't it? They are not going to go ahead and go back home, back to Godhead, just with that little bit what they've done initially, because they are not committing themselves, correct?
Exactly. There's the word, commit. You have to commit yourself. All of these things that you experience when you initially come in helps you to develop an attraction. But then you have to understand that in order to actually take advantage of it, you have to make a commitment. Otherwise, after a while, the same things will no longer attract you. You have to admit, yeah. In bhakti, you have to be moving towards Krishna, not trying to, go back to material life after coming to Krishna consciousness. Then what do you gain? Nothing. You gain a little bit of piety, but then again, you start working in the material world. Prabhupada said he was really strong about this. He's been pounding this one point on his classes. Everybody in the material world is sinful. Everybody. Because you can't stop causing difficulties to other living entities, no matter who you are. You're walking on the streets, you're stepping on ants, even unconsciously, you get a reaction for that. If you kill any living entity, or cause any living entity a difficulty, there is a reaction. That's a sinful reaction. Material line is designed in such a way that you can't stop sinning unless you come to Krishna consciousness. There's no way. There's no way. This idea of piety still allows you to commit some material sins because you're still not focusing on the essence. You're still trying to enjoy material life. So even in the mode of goodness, you can commit sinful activities. And people do. Prabhupada was making this point. Just listen to his classes, 6th canto, 2nd chapter, the verses in the 6th canto, 2nd chapter. He's just constantly talking about how the living entity cannot free themselves from sinful reaction unless they come to Krishna consciousness. No way. And then he explains that devotees walking on the streets, they may also be stepping on ants, but because they're walking for Krishna, there's no reaction. But if you're doing anything for yourself on any level, you get a reaction for that. On any level. That's how subtle the material energy is. And so to get free from that, we have to stay connected to the spiritual energy. And if you're staying connected, you can't commit sinful activities. Even if apparently you do, there's no reaction because you're trying to serve Krishna. Therefore, there is no sinful reactions in trying to serve Krishna.
So therefore, unless one actually surrenders to the Guru and takes up the process in earnest, one cannot really get out of the entanglement of the material energy.
Obviously.
Okay. Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji.
But how many actually stay?
So that's another thing. We may even come to the point of commitment. We may even take Diksha initiation, get our beads, get new name, etc. But then we may falter even after that point and not go on to Anartha Nivritti, Nishtha, etc.
Everything is up to you. You have to fly your own plane, but you get the power of other devotees who are flying next to you to support your flight. So you take advantage of the association of devotees of the mercy that is coming from the spiritual master, from Krishna. All these things are helping you. You stay connected in devotional service. But it's up to you to take advantage of that. Someone would say to Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, give me your mercy. Prabhupada said, I'm giving it, just take it. Are we taking the mercy? That's the point. It's available.
Is that okay, Mataji?
Yeah, yeah, yes. Thank you so much, Sujana. Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Thank you, Mataji. Maharaj, there's a
The screen, you're getting so close to the screen, it looks like you're gonna come through the screen. That's okay. I mean, it's just a little bit different than the rest of the gallery. That's all. That's it. Now you look really like yourself right now. Big smile with a frame around you, instead of just seeing your eyes that are going through the screen.
Sorry for looking like a horror story, Guru Maharaj. I'll try to remember. I'm just trying to hear very carefully. And this is my phone, so that's why I guess I was coming near.
Oh, okay. And so it's you're becoming a phony. That's right. Okay.
I'm a phony, I'm a fake trying to become the real thing, Guru Maharaj.
That's okay. Krishna loves you anyway. He loves everybody.
Even phonies who are trying to fake it, Guru Maharaj.
Yeah, just keep trying. That's all. Okay, I think unless
Maharaj,
I'm
there's a
get
few more questions.
chastised by the authorities if I don't end this class. Everybody's saying I'm keeping the classes too long, so. And so I think it's almost 2 hours now, so I think it's about time we, depart. Thank you very much for attending today. And we'll continue with these series of classes tomorrow. This is a very interesting part of the Bhagavatam. It's all about Krishna's pastimes. Gives you a little taste of what's coming up in the 10th canto.
Thank you, Maharaj. Maharaj, there are a few more questions in the chat. Should we leave it for tomorrow?
Yeah, we have to stop here.
That's fine, yeah. Thank you so much for the wonderful class. Thank you, dear devotees, for attending today's class.
By the boss,
Thank you, Maharaj. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, His Holiness Chandramauli Swami Maharaj ki jai. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Guru Maharaj.
Maharaj, Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Maharaj.
Thank you, Guru
so much.
Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Ma'am, so Maharaj. Hare
Bye.
Krishna.
Thank you very much, Guru
Jai.
Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Really chant the holy names and be happy.
Haribo. Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Thank you very much, Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna. See you all tomorrow.
Thank you so much, Sujana. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sujana. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sujana Mataji. Hare Krishna.